We haven't officially launched this, but the Iowa Farm Animal Care is a program that a couple of us have been working on for approximately 2 years, trying to pull it together. And the concept is Iowans working together for responsible farm animal care. And the program is supported by the Iowa Farm Animal Care Foundation with the vision that every Iowa farm animal receives proper animal care, and with the mission that addresses Iowans' concerns regarding Iowa farm animal care. And this is so important to us because here in Iowa we're so dependent on animal agriculture that we only need 1 or 2 visual images to come up into the media for it to really be affecting all of us. And so part of what we've been doing is some of us at Iowa State University, including Swine Extension, Dr. Anna Johnson and I both in the Animal Welfare Program, and our swine team have been working with Iowa Pork Producers Association and the Iowa Farm Bureau Federation on this program. And the concept is it will enable farm animal care concerns to be reported on a website or on a 1-800 number. And the purpose of this is to recognize the concept that most of us, 98% of our farm animals and our farm animals are treated well, and the producers are providing appropriate care. But we can get into situations where there's marginal animal care, and that can arise for a number of reasons. It can come about because of personal hardship, financial hardship, changes in family situations, or from lack of knowledge with a new producer coming into the system. The really dangerous area is the area in red, where we actually do fall into cases of animal cruelty and neglect. And I chair the Iowa Animal Cruelty Task Force. And so it's one of the areas that the sheriffs and so on have to deal with when people call in and they're trying to determine, is this a legitimate animal care concern? Or is this just someone who doesn't understand animal agriculture? And most of you probably don't see the farms that are not coping well, but we do have some, and we have to work together to try to help them out. So most of us are in the green section, where we're farmers, producers, or others that are all supporting swine production, doing a great job at it, and we have the customary animal husbandry practices and supported through programs such as PQA+. And then at the community level, the actions are raising awareness, evaluating concerns to help recognize whether customary animal care practices are in place or are not in place. And I keep using that term customary animal care because in the Iowa Code, that is the line for whether something is considered to be neglectful or not. And as you can imagine, that's quite a subjective area. And also the community will also rely on for assisting where we do have someone that is in tough circumstances. And then the last area would be law enforcement, where we do have failures in care and we're unable to resolve it. So what are the plans for what IAFAC would accomplish? Reduce the likelihood that cases of marginal farm animal care escalate to cruelty and neglect, so try to catch those early. Sometimes those of you in the rural areas, you recognize, you might be out on a farm or visiting someone and you recognize that they may be in a situation where they need a helping hand, so we need to try to step in there. Increase awareness of the customary animal husbandry practices amongst the non-farming community, and enhance the images of Iowa's farmers in the eyes of our key stakeholders, that we're being proactive on this as opposed to waiting for the next video to be around the corner. And the goal is also to encourage and enhance the working relationships among the different Iowa farm groups. So the way that we've been structuring this is that a reporter of a concern would call into this 1-800 number, and there will be an IFAC coordinator who will answer the phone. And right now we haven't launched the program because we're still identifying who that coordinator is going to be. And as you can imagine, that's going to be a really key role. The people that we've been looking at here are things like retired extension agents or people that have a long experience working with swine and can answer a lot of these questions. And a lot of the questions would get resolved at that level, in that it might be just somebody asking about gestation crates, and gestation stalls are customary. So just explaining that. If there are more reasons for concern, let's say somebody has seen dead pigs on the property or something like that, or they have concerns about thin animals or whatever, then the coordinator would contact the resource team. And right now that would be housed at Iowa State. Everything is voluntary. So that is the absolute key thing that I want you to understand. If somebody calls in and they have a concern, the coordinator would contact the producer and say, are you interested in having the team come out and work with you on this issue? And if they say no, then that's totally fine, and that information goes back to the reporter of the concern that we weren't able to go forward. And then they will choose to do with it what they wish. But if the producer says, yeah, absolutely, come on out, happy to get any input or whatever, then the resource team will come out and perform an on-farm evaluation. And if the customary animal husbandry practices are in place, then a report is written, it's filed back with the coordinator, and that's communicated back to the reporter of the concern that, thank you for your concerns, but these are customary practices. Everything looks like it's in good shape. But if there are situations where their customary practices are not in place, then the resource team informs the provider of potential solutions. So the producer here, we would work with and give them some ideas on how they could correct the situation and link them up with members of the community or extension or whatever. So the deliverables of this kind of a program would be answering questions about farm animal care for reporters or the general public, receive concerns so that we are having a dialogue with the community to evaluate the relevance of those concerns and distribute amongst the commodity resource teams. We go out and do the evaluations on farm where where the producer wishes us to do so. And that team, just to give you an idea, would always consist of one Iowa State Animal Welfare Extension specialist, so Dr. Anna Johnson or I. Dr. Anna is over in the Animal Science Department, and one swine veterinarian who has also been trained in this process. So we'll be not looking to find, on any farm you can always find something. This is not best management practices. This is using the standard guidelines of PQA plus and so on, and what the regular production system should be, and just evaluating where you stand there. So it's not the same as a PQA plus evaluation, and we're not expecting anything over and above standard practices. And then there would be a confidentiality agreement signed, and any information that comes into the program would be destroyed after a certain amount of time. So the farm cannot be identified, and we just gather data in terms of the number of calls that actually had a legitimate concern, the number of ones that were just looking for information, and so on. So the evaluations, as I said, would be based on the existing quality assurance programs. It is a voluntary process. It will be enacted promptly and confidentially to evaluate concerns, or producers can call in themselves if they've received a letter, which has happened to some of our producers here in the state from an animal organization expressing concerns. This is another way that we can provide you with a service to come out and help you evaluate that. And as I said, the evaluation team consists of a swine vet and an animal welfare specialist. In the meantime, if something was to happen today or tomorrow and we don't have the program up and running, I want you to be aware that we're very far along in the process, so we are pretty much ready to go. So if you did get a call and the line isn't up, don't worry, you could just contact Dr. Anna in Animal Science or myself in the College of Vet Med, and we can pull together the team and come out and assist. So that's just a really quick nutshell of the Iowa Farm Animal Care.